Together, we can rule the galaxy far and sound.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Hello there, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. This is Todd Hoffman and Trent Hoffman. You're listening to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 133. Today, we're going to be talking about episode 9 from season 2 of Bad Batch, The Crossing. So, a little different format. Doing this from the road. Traveling back from Cleveland, Ohio, and unfortunately it's for a funeral. My Uncle Ted has passed, and so I was able to get out there to do kind of the family stuff, and so traveling back, and so just a little bit of format, doing this on the fly, so pardon any kind of inconsistencies with this week's episode, but yeah, it's been an emotional time, but been fun to connect with family and all that good stuff. So here we go. So we have this week The Crossing, and it's again, we're kind of going to this mission, and it doesn't quite work out the way it does, but I always see, as this kind of season has taught us, is that we're just kind of hanging out with Bad Batch. What's happening? So Omega is still reeling from Echo leaving and not understanding why everyone is not as upset with the situation. And so we get this idea. We essentially get to this planet, and they're looking for a mineral called Ipsium, which is very much, I always kind of relate it back to like Solo with like coaxium and stuff like that. Very volatile, but it's a useful mineral here. And Sid bought this mine to essentially, some of it has been extracted, but there looks to be some deposits of that, and that's why he bought it, and thinks it as a good investment in trying to get a little bit more out of the mine. So we have Tech, Wrecker, and Hunter and Omega land the ship and say, okay, here we go. We're gonna go do this. As Tech and they have essentially Tech and Hunter are going to do their mining, and Omega and Wrecker are on watch. So as they begin, doesn't look like it's very promising for the mining part of it, but Tech does find a little deposit of it, and so they need Omega to essentially climb up and get it. So as they do that, Omega does her thing, and it's kind of like almost like a drill with a little needle in it, and she kind of extracts the stuff, and they're on their way. Again, because they have kind of this odd man out, you can tell that they're all adjusting to, okay, well, we don't want to leave Omega alone. We don't want, because Wrecker might be more suitable for extracting, like doing things in the mine, but they want to keep Omega safe, so they're kind of down a man and all this kind of stuff. So there's like this little, they're not used to this kind of new squad, which is just 4 instead of the 5. So we have that kind of dynamic going on, and it's kind of felt right away. Omega feels like now she's back to being, just being a babysitter or whatever. So now we have this situation. Omega comes in, get the thing, they get the mineral Ipsium, and then they kind of like, okay, I think we're good. We got enough here, but not enough that Sid was thinking about. So they get this, and they're like, okay, let's try to get this back to the ship. And then as they're trying to get back to the ship, there's this guy. It kind of has this Hondo vibes. We don't really see it. Really don't see him. He's kind of got like a feathered thing going on. He kind of has these Hondo vibes. He just comes on a little speeder, sees that they're at the mine, and the Marauders kind of off a little of the distance, not like totally right next to them. And so he just goes in, sneaks on the ship, bada bing, bada boom, and takes the ship, just like that. I didn't know spaceship stealing is that quick, but that's what happened. I don't know if our Bad Batch crew was not thinking that we should put some security protocols on the ship, but essentially he boosts the ship and he gone. Now, this really upsets Omega, and they kind of put a little blame on Wrecker, like, why weren't you watching the ship? Wrecker's like, look, you didn't have me close to the ship. I can't see the whole ship. I just see it taking off. What can I do? They just see it as a means of transportation, but Omega once again has emotional ties and like, that is our home. How are you guys not upset? And so this is kind of building. So there's a storm coming, and they decide, okay, we are going to let's kind of take off, and we're going to try to get to the next town over, and try to get some transportation and that kind of thing. So as they're progressing, they see kind of like this flock of not a flock, like a herd of these creatures. Kind of remind me of a little Lion King action with the wildebeest in the canyon, but they're in this canyon. Wrecker they're just trying to get the stuff and not get hit, because once again, this stuff is super volatile and explosive, all that kind of fun stuff. And the herd of whatever they are, I don't know, creatures, the wildebeest, the space wildebeest here, they drop the package of Ipsium, and Wrecker goes back to try to grab it, which he does. He protects it, and he gets kind of beat up, but then they find him. Everything's great. The storm is coming considerably after the herd of space antelope or whatever they are, and so they're like, okay, there's another mine right over here, mine shaft, that we can just tuck into before let the storm pass, and we should be good to go. Well, as in this confusion of trying to get everybody up, they dropped the Ipsium, so Wrecker can boost up Omega and all this stuff, and it gets hit by lightning and it explodes. The explosion causes a cave-in. Bada bing, bada boom. Now they're caved in. So now there's a little bit more. Again, Omega is just kind of wrecked by Echo, and now Marauder, and now they're trapped, and now they lost the Ipsium. So Omega's not really feeling it. She's like, all right, I just need to be alone time. She sees a little light. She opens that up, and then she notices that there's actually another vein or kind of whole other shaft of this place of Ipsium, and she starts doing her thing and actually extracting it. After a while of the three boys kind of trying to dig their way out, Hunter's like, yo, we haven't heard from Omega. Tech, go see her. Tech is then there and notices that Omega is doing this and kind of over-parenting a little bit, like, hey, be careful. And Omega's like, I know. It's all good. I can do this. And showing kind of that independence a little bit. Again, I want to put her at 12-ish, I think. I don't know what standard age she is, but she is, just showing a little independence. And like, hey, I got this. I can do this. I'm more capable of that. And so she kind of is still in this kind of nook thing. And she keeps on filling up the vials, and they have like another little storage thing that Tech has that allows them to get all the stuff. Great. they get more stuff. Now this is looking very good for not only the mission, but that Sid will be happy, and they're all happy. There's one little Ipsium deposit left, and she tries to reach for it. She drops, and Omega falls down. She kind of goes through this. She's slipping, and Tech, without hesitation, I love the development of Tech. He's just stepping into this and just drops right into it. And so they go through this kind of, White Ratter, rampage type thing. It gets through all this kind of things. And then they get to this another pool of just like another Ipsium deposit. It's very cool and just like super awesome. But essentially, they even got more Ipsium down here. And now Hunter and Wreck are trying to find them. And it's like, okay, what's going on, guys? And I'm like, well, we know where we're at. We got the Ipsium, but yeah, we're stuck in this cavern. You got to jump down this thing, bada bing, bada boom. So they asked them to grab the stuff because they have this whole backpack full of Ipsium, but they need to come find us, and we think we found a way out. So Wrecker and Hunter join them in this whitewater rampage thing, and they get through it, and they're all in this cavern. And essentially, they use one of the Ipsium things to kind of go out. Now, while they're waiting for Hunter and Wrecker to get to them, there's a really cool kind of dialogue between Omega and Tech, and just like how they express their feelings and what you're thinking about and what this looks like. And it's like, essentially, look. Tech's like, I feel the same thing you feel. I'm just expressing it a little bit different. And it's not that I don't miss Echo or anything like that. It's just like we have to move on, as good soldiers do. And Omega kind of, understands where Tech's coming from and doesn't see Tech as this callous, like, calculating thing, and one of the other things that kind of comes up before this is that, like Hunter says to Tech, like Tech just says, I told her the truth about the situation they're in, and Hunter's like, she already knows the truth, but that's not what she's looking for. She's looking for like comfort and stuff like that. So this is kind of like a real kind of adult theme in the sense of like, listen, as a kid, there's certain things that they already know, and she does know, but it's not like she needs to know that fact. She wants to know more of the emotional stability, which this is like way in front of their skis for the whole Bad Batch group. They've always been soldiers using their instinct and intuition to fight battles, and now a preteen girl, Omega, is really kind of messing up the whole flow. That's what makes Bad Batch interesting, but at the same time, it's also changing how they're feeling and how they're looking and perceiving at the world, which is very cool, because again, like, they're not as how can we put it, mature as Omega has seen or done or that kind of stuff. So we're seeing that emotional connection more with Omega, especially in our last two episodes, where again she's like, Camino's my home, those were my brothers. She got emotionally charged by all that, where there wasn't maybe a lot of that coming from the clones that followed that orders. You see some of that, obviously, as they kind of peel the onion, like Rampart can't get away with this, but Omega's definitely charged and wired differently than your typical clone, which again brings a little bit more humanizing to Omega. And it's also opening up this kind of emotional palette with the Bad Batch group, which is great. I think this is really super fun way of kind of just showing where and when the Bad Batch crew is like just being a little bit more, they're just getting more well-rounded, I guess would be the word I was looking for there. But yeah, it's super, super interesting. And so Tech, Record wants to blow this up, but Tech's like, hey, it needs a little bit more precise shot. We get in there, they open up the mine, they're able to get out, and they kind of come out the other side of this whole mine system they were in, and they're closer to the town. When they get to the town, little Old West vibe, but it's not much of a town. It's more of a kind of, I don't know, like a station or whatever. But it does have like some kind of long-range comlink type thing. And they get a hold of Sid. Sid is like, so what do you want me to do? You lost your ship. Do your thing. Sid's being a little bit callous, but like, hey, we got some Ipsium. We got some stuff for you. You need some help. And we lost our ship. And so Sid's like, fine, I'll send somebody. And that's kind of how the episode ends. So kind of interesting. It's a little different. But again, we kind of, this failed mission part, it's okay. Like I'm not terribly upset with it. I just feel like in some respects this is where you kind of get in this the Book of Boba Fett kind of feel, where you're always going to the back of the tank to get these flashbacks. It's not necessary to find out the past of Boba Fett, but that's the only way we do it, and it's kind of a we go back to that story device one too many times. Again, I'm not upset with getting to know the Bad Batch and exploring them more, but I feel like this failed mission thing is getting a little long in the tooth, I think. So I'm hoping they change it up a little bit. Like, again, I love kind of that big picture stuff that we got with 7 and 8. It was refreshing, but you just gotta be slightly careful here that we're constantly like, oh, this is a busted mission and we're gonna do, but we're still exploring stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying just hanging out with the Bad Batch and getting to know them a little bit better. So that is the whole episode right there, man. And yeah, it, these ones they go kind of fast, and but Trent and I are really enjoying them. I think they're fun. It's a good, again, I just think the animation and everything about Bad Batch is just top notch. Again, like I said, just a little scared about them constantly going to this kind of failed mission approach, but super, super cool. So there you have it, Bad Batch. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of other things that happened this week. It's been a little crazy, obviously, with the family situation and everything, and yeah, it's just been a little all over the place. But one of the things that I am excited about is there's two things, obviously, well, three things. I mean, oh my gosh, we are just getting so close to The Mandalorian. There was another clip that we got to see. I believe this was for Apple TV or something like that. We got Mando coming to meet Grief Karga, and our boy Grogu is spinning in the chair. I think this is super hilarious. If you're ever been in the corporate world and the kid comes and visits the office, it's pretty much the first thing they do. It's like, oh, look at this big chair, let me spin around with it. We had the same situation happen when Trent visited, like when I was working downtown for a little bit. He loved spinning around the big chair, and it's a great thing. And so that's what we get with Grogu. It's great. Like, Daddy, check out this office. It's great. Obviously, I believe he's using the Force to spin around, which is even better. And then that would make Master, Obi-Wan very grumpy, just like what Anakin said about the space peaches. And, but anyways, he's having fun. I think Master Luke would be a little mad at Grogu for using the Force to spin around the chair. Then he also uses the Force to grab a snack, which any kid would do, because Grogu just likes having snacks. So yeah, there you have it. There's that little clip there, which was awesome. So that's number one. So we're like, I think we're 12 days away from of this recording from our good old Mandalorian season 3. Can't wait. Next up, we're getting a lot of clips now that we're getting so close to Jedi. The Survivor, which is the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. Get to see a little Cal Kestis. A lot of cool things coming up. There's like 5 forms that we get to do. So if you're familiar with the forms of a Jedi, the stances of how they use the lightsaber, they're all a little different. I want to say Obi-Wan uses Form 3. I know Mace uses Form 7, which is a little close to the dark side. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I might have to fact check myself and make sure I'm right on that. But anywho, there's different forms. And in the one clip that I saw is that the developer was saying, like, when they got the double bladed, they wanted to do a form, and it's more of a special attack and not a true form when you got the double bladed stuff. But essentially, you have the single saber, the double blade like the Darth Maul, and then the 2 blade similar to kind of what Ahsoka uses. And so we get a cool little clip of them talking about the different forms and how you progress, and that Cal, obviously getting used to the Force and all that fun stuff, is actually better right off the start instead of struggling a little bit when we first do Jedi Fallen Order. So I'm super excited about that. There's a couple clips too where, get this, I know this is hard to believe, but the lightsaber actually like dismembers stormtroopers and droids and stuff, which would be realistic. I mean, we see this a little bit, obviously with like the Walrus Man Ponda Baba. We see a little blood, but technically it'd be cauterized. But that's tomato. Hey, it was 1977. George, he knew something was going on. We saw that. Obviously, we also saw that with the Wampa in the snow cave with Luke, and we got that. Lots of dismemberment. We got Anakin losing a limb. Luke losing a limb in Empire as well. We lose a lot of limbs in Star Wars. Well, now we get to see that play out in the video game. Wasn't as much as that in Jedi Fallen Order, but now we get to see that a little bit more. So limbs of flying are happening in Jedi Survivor. So that's all very cool stuff. So we got that coming up, obviously, and then that's the second thing. And then third thing, Battle Scars, speaking about Jedi Fallen Order, is the in-between book that is going to be dropping, I believe, March 7th. So that is coming up. So that gives us a couple weeks to make that happen, and that's going to be super, super awesome. So get to spend a little time with the Mantis crew a little bit and hang out with them. So super excited for that. So guess what? A lot of great stuff coming up. And hey, we're doing some bonus episodes, so check that out as well. We're going to have a couple new ones coming up, a couple freshies as we get closer to Mandalorian here, but we're playing some old bonus episodes this upcoming week, so check that out. And then we'll have a couple new fresh ones hot off the plate as we get closer to Mandalorian Season 3, so hope you check that out. Again, you can find us on socials, Big T, Little T. Podcast at gmail.com is where you can email us if you want to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, all that fun stuff. Spotify, Big T, Little T Podcast on Instagram, BLILT Podcast on Twitter. And then we're on Twitch. Please follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Big T, Little T. And we would love to hang out with you as we game through Fortnite, Madden, FIFA, Goat Simulator, all this fun stuff. We love hanging out and playing some video games and all that fun stuff. So we are hoping you would check us out there. And next week we'll do a little bit more Bad Batch as we get closer to the end of the season and the beginning of Mandalorian season 3. So my trip is almost coming to an end here, and want to wish you a very happy week. May the Force be with you, and as we always say, the mind of a child. What does Yoda say? Truly wonderful the mind of a child is. And guys, may the Force be with you always. Bye. See you later. Bye. Talk to you soon. Peace.